Although it may not compare in stature to a Petey, enshrinement in the Pro Football Hall of Fame is not bad. And this past weekend, our friend Dan Marino formalized the inevitable. So like any good friend, we went behind his back to get the scoop on Dan and spoke with those who know him best. Together, they paint a picture of a man whose impact and influence extends well beyond football. From all of us at HBO, congratulations, Dan.
He's one of, there's only about 2 or 3 people I've ever been around. Dan was one and Terry Bradshaw was one that when they threw the ball, it whistled.
Danny was a tough kid, you know, blue-collar worker, family. You know, he was a competitor. He wasn't no prima donna.
He was a brash, young, handsome guy from Pittsburgh, and he developed into a pillar in our community of doing things the way that they should be done.
He lifted the players up around him. They played up to his level, you know, and I think that's an ability he had throughout his career, that he could always kind of rise to the occasion.
We took a photograph and had it posted of Danny and his offensive linemen dressed up in Western gang outfits, and it was like the posse protecting the gold armor. And so they had that relationship a long time, and Danny had that relationship with his linemen. And it wasn't because, you know, that was some plan. That's who he identified, because he was as tough as they were.
Marino goes deep.
One of the nicest things anyone's ever done for me, the day Dan tied the NFL record for touchdown passes, he had that game jersey framed and he sent it to me.
The night that I enjoyed the most was the Bears game in '85. The thing that made that game so special was the fact that it was a Monday night game. The Bears were undefeated. They looked like nobody was going to beat them. You know, and we had 30 points in the first half of that game. And it was just such a joy watching from the sideline. Just the greatest first half of football that I've ever been around.
He never really brought football home, which was nice. You know, when the game was over, a lot of times we go out and have dinner with friends and fellow teammates and things. But then once we got home and Monday morning came, he'd be up taking the kids to school, and we were lucky. It was left sort of at the stadium.
I personally have always felt the best way to parent, I mean, I'm not being a parent, is by example, and both my parents have always been a great example to us, you know, so it's really, they don't have to so much, you know, tell it to us as much as, you know, we can just see that that's really the best way to do things.
I'm very proud of him as a husband, a father, a son, then the football player. You know, I think that I'm a very lucky lady.
You know, a lot of people always ask me, you know, like, oh, you don't play sports, you know, because I don't play a lot of sports. And, you know, but my father doesn't really care about that. You know, what he cares about is that you work really hard at what you love to do. And I really learned that from him.
I'm really excited that you got inducted to the Hall of Fame, and I love you and congratulations.
Congratulations on getting into the Hall of Fame. Did a great job. God bless, and I love you.
Dad, we're very proud of you and we love you.
Dad, congratulations for making the Hall of Fame. I'm really proud and grateful for what you've done on the field and off. I mean, sorry for never giving you any credit, you know, for how good you really are, because you really are great, you know. And no matter how hard you try, you're still slow.
He's a hard worker, and he gave everything he had to play, and physically, mentally, and you know, I think that he deserves this, you know, and I'm very proud of him, and you know, I think that it's just the highlight of his career, so.
Wow, that was great. Yeah, thanks. What can I say? Thank you for that piece. Whoever did, guys, I appreciate it, and thank you. I mean, just to have my family there and say those nice things, it was a surprise.
Brian Lockhart of HBO primarily put that together.
Thank you, Brian. Pretty special. Thank you. I have my kids there and speaking that way, going into Hall of Fame, and it's going to be this summer, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we'll all be there.
Right.
Thank you,
and
yes.
Speaking for the guys, if they built another building next to the Hall of Fame that just had the Hall of Fame for people, you'd be in both buildings.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You know, over the years from a booth or in the studio, I saw you make a lot of big-time plays. but knowing you a little better these last 3 years, I've never seen you big time anybody. That's a cool thing.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right.
I can't say anything. Forget it. I'm done.